Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to demystify one of the core pillars of the internet, the domain name system. We're actually going to set up our very own DNS server in Linux using Bind, which is one of the most powerful and widely used DNS tools out there. This is a really foundational skill for anyone in DevOps or systems administration. So, let's kick things off with a simple question. Why don't we just use IP addresses to get around the web? Could you imagine telling your friend to check out a cool new website at 142.250.187.206? Yeah, that's not going to stick, right? Humans are great with names, but terrible with long strings of numbers. And that is exactly the problem DNS was created to solve. So here's what we've got on tap for today. We'll start with the fundamentals, what DNS and Bind actually are. Then, we'll get our hands dirty with the installation and configuration. After that, we'll create the essential zone files and, most importantly, learn how to validate our setup. And we'll wrap it all up with some key tips to keep your server running nice and smooth. All right, first things first, the basics. Before we even think about touching a single configuration file, let's make sure we really get the key concepts down. Trust me, spending a minute here makes all the practical steps later on so much easier. Okay, so the easiest way to think about DNS is that it's basically the internet's phone book. It's this massive global system that translates names we can all remember, like www.example.com, into the IP addresses that computers actually need to communicate. And the software we're going to use to build our little piece of that phone book is called Bind. Now, inside that phone book, you don't just have one type of entry, right? You've got all these different records, and they all live in what's called a zone file. The SOA record, that's kind of like the cover page with all the publishing info. The NS record points to the main server for that domain. But the ones you'll use most are A records, which map a name to an IP, and PTR records, which do the exact reverse. So we're actually going to build two kinds of phone books here. The forward zone is the one we all know and love. It turns a name into an IP address. But we also need a reverse zone, which does the opposite. And this is super important for things like mail servers or logging systems that need to check where a connection is coming from based on its IP. All right, that's enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty. It's time for our first practical step. We're going to get Bind installed on our Linux machine, and then we're going to lay down the basic configuration that tells it exactly what to do. Okay, pop open that terminal because we're starting with three key commands. First, we give our server a proper name, a fully qualified hostname. Next, we use the package manager to install the Bind software itself. And finally, we enable and start the service, which you'll notice is called named. That's named, to make sure it always starts up when the server boots. Next up, we're diving into the main configuration file, /etc/namedconf. Think of this as the brain of our DNS server. The most critical changes we'll make are telling Bind to listen for requests from other computers on the network, not just itself. We also need to specify who is allowed to ask it for information, and finally, we declare our new zones. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. This is the part that gets everybody when they're starting out. By default, Bind is locked down tight for security and will only listen to itself. That's the local host address. When you comment out this line, you're telling it to open up and listen on all its network connections. This tiny change is what turns it into an actual network service. Okay, our main config is now pointing to some files that don't exist yet. So let's go create them. This is where we'll define the actual phone book entries for all the computers on our network. First on the list is our forward zone file. This is where we're going to map all the human-friendly names we want to use, like NS1 for our name server or www for a web server, to their specific IP addresses. So what goes in this file? Well, we start with a bit of boilerplate, the SOA and NS records that establish its authority. Then comes the real meat, the A records. This is where we make the connection, saying that the name NS1 points to this IP and www points to that one. We can even create aliases called CNAMEs, so FTP just points to the same machine as www. Now here's a pro tip, and trust me, this is a big one. See that serial number? It's not just a random number, it's a version counter. Every single time you change this file, you have to increase this number. It's how other DNS servers know your information has been updated. A really common trick is to use the date, like YYYMMD, and then a 2-digit number for revisions on that day. All right, forward zone is done. Now, let's do the exact opposite. It's time to create the reverse zone file. Like the name says, this file is going to map our IP addresses back to their host names, which completes the whole name resolution picture. You'll see the structure here is pretty much the same. SOA and NS records right at the top. But instead of A records, we're using PTR records for pointer. And check out this cool shortcut. Because the zone is already named for the network part of the IP, you only have to write the very last number of the IP address for each record. Pretty neat, huh? We are so close. But before we fire this thing up, we have to do what is honestly the most important step of all, validation. Taking a few seconds to run these checks now will save you from hours of headaches later. Seriously, if you take one thing away from this whole process, let it be this. A single typo, even a missing semicolon, can stop the entire DNS service from starting. So you'll always validate your config files before you restart the service. And the good news is, bind doesn't leave us guessing. It gives us the exact tools we need. We use named checkconf for the main file and named checkzone for our zone files. Now you'll see that reverse zone name looks kind of weird, that inadra.arpa is just a special domain used for all reverse lookups. The goal here is simple. You want to see no output. If you run the command and it just returns you to the prompt, you're golden. Only then should you restart the service. Okay, all our checks passed. Bind has restarted, but we're not quite done. We've got two last things to do. First, we have to tell the firewall to let DNS traffic through. Then it's the moment of truth. From another computer, we use the dig command to ask our new server a question. We'll ask it for a name, then we'll ask it for an IP, and see if it gives us the right answers back. And there you have it. You built a DNS server. High five. But, now you got to maintain it and know what to do when things go wrong. So this last section is all about the essential do's, the don'ts, and some common problems you might run into. So let's quickly run through some key habits to get into. Always increment that serial number, and always use that little dot at the end of full domain names in your zone files. It's more important than you think. On the flip side, never forget your firewall rules. And a big one, don't try to edit /etc/resolve.conf by hand on modern systems. Your changes will almost always get overwritten automatically. So, if you boil this whole thing down, it really comes back to these 5 core steps. You install the software, you configure the main service, you create your zone data, you validate everything to make sure it's perfect, and finally, you test to make sure it all works. Look at that. You've now got a real working piece of core network infrastructure up and running. You have the power to create your own domains, map out your own network, and name your services whatever you want. So the big question is, what are you going to build with it? Are you going to build out a home lab, a new web server, a mail server? The sky's the limit now. Thanks for watching.